All right. So I guess now you understand what the plan was.
Absolutely. At Colts Law, we talk Indianapolis Colts football.
We're going to stick to what we know, fundamentals and technique, 1% better every day.
What's going on, Colts Nation? Twinsies here to show you what's going on today with the Indianapolis Colts. I'm Lawrence Owen. With me, as usual, is my boy Colts Loyalist. And today, honestly, I wasn't wearing this at all. Like 5 minutes prior, I happened to see Loyalist show up, and he's wearing that. And I'm like, where'd he get the beanie? Oh, crap. And that's why I was 4 minutes late, because I ran real quick and changed my shirt, got my hat. You know, I was like, we're going to do the same stuff. Speaking of the same stuff, Loyalist, the Indianapolis Colts are staying in-house with position coach hires. What? I mean, holy crap. First, we hear about Cato June, who does have coaching experience at least, right? I mean, he's coached at his alma mater at the high school. He's coached at college level. And now he's an assistant linebackers coach. Great for him. Now we go out, we get our DBs coach, which is Mike Mitchell, who was a fantastic safety for Pittsburgh and Indy and a few other places. You know, he's been around. He knows the coaching carousel, knows how, and he was known as a guy who coached up the players on the team while he was with us, which is why I think this is a fantastic hire. And then, of course, rumors blowing up all around that Ballard and Reich are trying to push to get Reggie Wayne, who was an assistant of sorts a couple years back with the wide receivers during training camp, but they're looking to get him as the wide receivers coach in replace of Groh. What are your thoughts on the Indianapolis Colts going out and getting former players to fill in these coaching spots?
I love it because they're not just to your point. You know, we're not just going and getting a guy that was a third string. These are guys that performed at real good levels and stuff. They understand the culture. Reggie Wayne. I mean, no knock to Reggie, but he was never the fastest guy. But his route running abilities. Now look at our wide receivers that we have on the roster and stuff. Perfect idea. If we can get Reggie, to teach these kids the techniques and all the little nuances and stuff that, TY, has been hopefully, sharing his knowledge with over the last couple of years. Mike Mitchell, he, like you said, he came in to the roster and it was just like, he was one of the guys instantaneously, he came in and sort of took over that leadership role, and it was just, and then he did perform on the field too at a high level. So I love these guys that they're bringing in and stuff. And then, Reggie's not for sure yet, but I will tell you my favorite, hands down, Cato June. That's the fanboy. I loved watching the dude play. He played with such an intelligence. And he fits our linebacking core. As far as that undersized, fast type of linebacker. So. To sit there and not only can he, relate to these guys from the culture, but he can relate to them from how, to perform in the best of situations. Because I'm just, as you can tell, I'm super hyped up about it, man.
Well, there is a bunch of pluses and minuses to hiring former players who don't really have coaching experience, a.k.a. Mike Adams, or Mike Mitchell. I get those two confused once in a while. I'm sorry, Pops. I'm sorry, Mitchell. And then, of course, Reggie Wayne. When you don't have coaching experience, even at a high school or collegiate level, it's kind of difficult to get in. And you might be absolutely fantastic. That does not mean that you know how to transverse that knowledge to other people, right? And that's a thing. Now, again, Mike Mitchell was very good at that. It was reported multiple times. He was very good at that. Cato June went through the coaching ranks on purpose so that he could get to where he's at now because he wanted to be a coach. And apparently, that's fantastic as well. Reggie Wayne, I love the idea if we get Reggie Wayne to be the wide receivers coach because he's not just a guy who knows how to do championship level stuff, as Hurst RD in the chat, thanks for joining, appreciate you, was talking about. This guy learned how to be a professional and how to be a great wide receiver from maybe, in my opinion, the best wide receiver the Colts ever had. I love Reggie Wayne, but Reggie Wayne wasn't Marvin Harrison, and I was around for the Marvin Harrison days, and that man was absolutely fantastic. He taught Reggie Wayne a lot. Reggie Wayne then taught that to T.Y. Hilton, right? But, of course, sometimes, T.Y.'s a smaller guy. It's harder for T.Y. to teach a guy like Michael Pittman Jr. how to be the best he could be because they're not the same type wide receiver. Reggie Wayne could teach him how to be the best that Michael Pittman can be, and other receivers who are the more bigger guys, right? And I think this is a fantastic move by the Indianapolis Colts, getting guys who are respected in the building, respected by other players. This is not a situation where the Colts players are going to walk in training camp and go, I don't know any of these guys. They got to earn my respect now. No. Their pictures are posted up all over the building. They have respect before they walk into that office.
And if they don't, we're going to have David Thornton in there making sure that everybody's understanding the message that they ought to be. Because to your point, these guys have always been excellent communicators on the field, on the sideline. These guys, and the thing is they're in positions, where they actually have hands-on with the players. They're not like the defensive coordinator where you've got to spend a lot of time in office and scheme. These are the guys that have the most time with the players and stuff and hands-on and going through and showing. And I just, man, to sit there and have a daily dose of Reggie Wayne, if it happens, teaching you how and why to start with the right foot and instead of the left foot, and just things that as an average watcher of football, you're just like, oh, he ran down the field. But no, there's a reason for every little thing, and Reggie can explain that to him. And Cato June, man, I cannot express to you how smart of a player. If you guys never got to see him, check out, go look and look for some highlights. This dude played with his heart, but he played with his mind too. I'm super hyped. These are great pieces at the perfect spots. And like with Darius Leonard and Bobby Okereke and so, these guys are at a level, okay, that now they're getting a new voice, a different perspective on things. And I just think that this is going to be like a collaboration, like we've talked about with Frank Reich and the way he runs this organization.
One thing that I think that a lot of people are going to notice a little bit of difference with Cato June as the hire is Cato, as you talked about, is very similar to our two main starting linebackers, or that lighter, faster, quicker kind of guy. He was good at coverage. That's what Cato was really good at. And that's one thing that a lot of Colts fans have, issues with the linebacking core, is being able to cover, tight ends and things of that nature. And I think Cato will bring that knowledge and be able to help teach him, hey, this is how you become sticky to somebody, right? This is how you're able to keep an eye on the quarterback, but yet not leave that zone so wide open that, a blind man can throw it out there and get a reception because you're nowhere near the guy. That's something I'm really looking forward to. Again, Mike Mitchell, a guy who was good at not only tackling, but he could cover as well. He had decent hands. He knew how to catch a football, and that's only going to help guys. In my honest opinion, the guy that's going to help the most is going to be Blackman, right? Blackman has the talent. He needs coached. I think Blackman has that ability to be a Pro Bowl type safety.
Absolutely.
And with Mike Mitchell's knowledge, I think he could bring that out of him if he's able to transverse that knowledge to him the way I believe that he can, the way he was able to back when he was a player. Now, obviously, Khari Willis, great downhill, strong safety, able to tackle great, but, questionable in the coverage area, as many of you know. So maybe Mitchell would be able to help in that area as well. Guys, I want to thank everybody who is in here. Please smash that like button now before you forget later. All right. Smash it. Helps out the analytics. We appreciate it so very much. As you can see, my boy Loyalist and I were both wearing the exact same outfit. Both of us wearing my merch. You can go check out my merch shop in the link in the description of the video. And also, shout out to Toxic Tommy, who 3 days ago joined our Patreon. So that's absolutely fantastic. We just had a 3-hour great 3-hour Patreon only stream last night where Patreon members are allowed to come in and we hang out and talk. And we talked about everything from football to food to cars to all sorts of stuff. It was an absolutely fantastic 3 hours. We do that every Thursday at 8 p.m. That's just another thing that Patreon members, only $5 a month, get to join in with. And it's Patreon exclusive, and you can join that in the link in the bottom as well. Guys, I'm going to go ahead and let's see here.
I'd like to real quick just add one more point about Mike Mitchell. I remember, because we had Hooker, and the secondary was just sort of, you had the talent, but they weren't like playing like a unit and stuff. And I remember when Mitchell came in, the communication got better, the cohesion in the back, was just, so if he can bring that on a daily basis to this team and stuff, I am super happy, because I'm not saying that our communication is lacking or any of that, but just wasting keys and things to, help each other get to that next level. I'm telling you right now, these pieces, these young pieces, as far as what they're bringing to the table and the understanding, this has an opportunity to really give the boost that this defense has been looking for the last couple of years.
And the Colts have been incredibly active in hiring coaches as of late, right? There was that whole rumor that the Colts can't get anybody because, the front office is cheap. And now this past week, 4 different guys, maybe 5. We just got Nate Ollie, who, in my opinion, we're going to discuss that in a little bit, is a really good hire for the defensive line. And you know who's going to be excited about Nate Ollie being on the defensive line? DeForest freaking Buckner. And DeForest Buckner says, hey, don't talk about my Colts. Don't talk about the front office. Don't be talking crap about my team. All right? And by the way, if you want me or any other Colts out there on your wall, go check out the Backroom Collection. This channel is proudly sponsored by the Backroom Collection. They do beautiful sports canvas art with football, basketball, baseball, and other sports themes. Special orders are accepted and autograph pieces are available. Many Indianapolis Colts signed pieces will be available beginning in November. Just use your discount code CL10 to purchase the pieces you want to spice up your living area. That's CL10. All right, Loyalist, anything you want to discuss? We're 13 and a half minutes in, and we got 15 people watching live. I don't know what the like button is, but it better be pretty good by now. If there's 15 watching, there should be at least 10 likes minimum. All right, thank you.
Yeah, no, I was waiting to see what the number was, but no, like I said, I just the whole cheap thing, man, that just rubs me. And obviously DeForest was pretty upset about it, and I just like to. My take on that is when in the history of what Irsay has done has been cheap. He's supported this team. He's given this team. Ballard is a lot of the times telling Irsay, no, we got this. This is our limit, and Irsay's like, go ahead if you need to pay a little extra. So I don't understand where this narrative is coming from. And I agree. I was expecting I was hoping for a little bit of a splash type thing in the DC. But I'll tell you now, you look at Gus Bradley, you look how he's going to blend in. That's not a cheap move. That's a smart move. Okay. And I really think that, you're not going to sit there and throw a whole different guy and characteristics and different scheme and stuff with these guys. So and then as far as, some of these other, yeah, maybe they did miss out on. I don't know. I mean, it's not like that's not general knowledge. I know there's rumors that they've missed out on people, but that's not because of Ursay being cheap. That's because of other circumstances and stuff. So I don't agree with it, and I'm glad DeForest said something about it.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Tim M down here says sources say podcasters. Hey, I don't go there. All right.
Nope.
I don't go there. I have sources. I don't talk about them. I don't talk about what they say or anything like that. I know people. Of course I know people. But that ain't I'm not going to give you second-hand information, third-hand information, fourth-hand information. I'll give you what I know directly, okay? And if I don't know, I'll give you my opinion, and you'll know it's my opinion. I'm not going to mislead you in any freaking way, all right?
Yeah, and this organization has been making good choices. I mean, extremely good choices with certain circumstances that have been out of their control, over the last 4 or 5 years. So just sit there and think that now all of a sudden they've lost their mind and just the whole cheap. It makes no sense. It fits with no data or history that we've had of the organization.
That's if the Colts were cheap. If it was just so easy that another team could go out and offer another player or another coach more money and draw them away because you drew more money for the exact same position, we Bubba Ventrone would have been gone long ago, right? I mean,
yes, absolutely.
One of the best special teams coordinators in the NFL. He would have been gone long ago if that was the case, but that's not the case. That's not how the NFL works. All right. But hey, we got some other stuff in here that people want to talk about, and I will bring it up. I appreciate the fact that a lot of you, like Joe B, is in here. Speed Maverick, appreciate you. Wyatt, Brandon W, all you guys. Already talked about Hirsch RD in here as well. Young OG and Sargal, both of you talked about earlier about Russell Wilson because his name has been linked to the Colts in the past. Not anything of the Colts are interested or he is interested in going to the Colts. It's just speculation of, oh, wow, I would love Russell Wilson as the quarterback for the Indianapolis Colts. I get that. I understand where a lot of that comes from. They're talking about, do you think that there's anything to him and Russell Wilson changing up, what's going on his social media?
I got 2 cents on it, but that's all it is 2 cents. But I mean, that seems to be the way now. If you're sitting there and you're displeased or whatever, and you want to get some buzz, you don't have to go out and start, throwing names and stuff. No, now all you got to do is, scrub your social media platform, and all of a sudden now all the conjecture and everything is out there running rampant. And and people are sitting there, oh, well, the Colts were interested. Okay, Irsay said that he liked Russell Wilson. I'm sorry. Any owner or GM that sits there and says, I don't like Russell Wilson, automatically is going to have their organization going, what? So, yes, I understand Irsay liked Russell Wilson, okay? But that does not sit there and, yes, I understand that there's, all this question around Carson Wentz and stuff. But still, none of that means anything to this point. And the thing is people are just picking bits and pieces of information, smushing it all together, and then putting it out there and see if it catches any traction or see if, and hey, Russell Wilson, great. If it ever happens, I'll be the first to, but I just don't see these type of moves coming. And if they do, like I said, what is it going to cost us? What are you willing to give up for Russell Wilson?
Well, here's the thing, okay? Yes, when a player's unhappy, he'll take the team and all that off his social media. That doesn't necessarily mean that he's getting traded, all right? There's been times where guys got contract extensions because they did that. Mm-hmm. Yes, there has been times that they've gotten traded with that. But there's also times where, a quarterback was upset with his team. Hey, I ain't getting this or this or this to help me out. Next thing you know, the team goes out, does what they're supposed to do, to help that player out, and then it's back to normal. All it is just the player saying that they're unhappy. It has nothing to do with whether or not he's going to get what he wants, at all.
Yeah, and I'm not real political, and we don't do that on this show, but I sort of liken this is Russell Wilson's peaceful protest to what he feels isn't right or something in Seattle. And that's his way of, he's showing his displeasure and stuff, but he's not, like I said, tarnishing the organization. He's not slandering any players or anything. It's just a simple way to sit there and let the people know, hey, I'm not real happy with this, but I'm not willing to lose my mind over it either.
All right, I want a special shout out to Hermit Crabbit. Appreciate you. You just dropped $5 by using the link right here at the top of the description of this video. $5 into the tip jar. We appreciate that so much. You also dropped $5 3 days ago when I wasn't even streaming, so I appreciate that as well. So a shout out. That's $10 in the last 3 days. Thank you so much. No, I can't wait. I can't wait until we find out whether or not Nate Ollie is actually hired, because he hasn't been announced yet, right, by the Indianapolis Colts, so it's not a done deal. But a guy who I am talked to quite a bit posted this out on social media, stating that the Colts were going to be hiring Nate Ollie, and a lot of people were like, "Who's Nate Ollie? Who's Nate Ollie?" Nate Ollie, yeah. Loyalist was a guy who was like, "Who's this Nate Ollie dude?" All right, so he's a defensive line coach, and everywhere he's been a defensive line coach, that defensive line has been top 5 in the NFL. Last year, obviously, the Jets. What was the best part of the entire Jets organization was that defensive line, right? The play of the defensive line. Before that, he was in Philly. Last year, Philly's defensive line took a dump. They were not playing very good at all. But prior to that, that defensive line, while he was there those couple years, were one of the best in the NFL, which is fantastic. And I like that because that means this guy gets the best out of the players that he has to work with. And that's what I want to see. That's why, this is a better hire than what, Baker was. Because Baker wasn't getting... Baker, I don't know. I mean, you look at it and you're like, dude, Baker might have lost some of the talent. I mean, like not getting as much out of the players because of snap counts. Snap counts by itself will dramatically decrease the productivity of a player, right? If you're not giving a guy who needs the snaps enough snaps, that means the production on the field is not nearly as good. If you're giving some guys too many snaps and they're just dead-ass tired on the field, whereas you could have put somebody else in there during times to give them breathers, that's mismanagement. And I need someone who knows how to manage the snap counts of the guys that is playing under him.
Yeah. Now, I'll be honest with you. I'm not totally sold on putting it all on Brian Baker's lap, but that's, I understand the defense. What I will admit is that, the defense for me was not getting the production that I'd hoped from the D-line. Okay. No disputing that, whether it was Flues, whether it was, Baker, whatever. So, okay. The nice thing is Flues went on, Baker's gone. Now we've got a clean slate. And you sit there and you look at Baker was 30 some years coaching. I mean, just deep with experience and stuff. And I liked it, dude. Everything I've seen, I liked everything about the man himself. Okay. I was looking into Ollie and stuff, but and the thing is this guy, for me, defense is a mindset. I mean, you want skill and stuff, but the mindset that come in, want to just drop the hammer, throw your, go full throttle and throw your body. And that takes a special mindset to do that. And do it at that rate and stuff. And to me, I want a younger, more vibrant coach. And everything I've looked as far as the way he connects with his players and stuff, the way, he coaches with that. Like, okay, I use Bubba Ventrone. You're watching Bubba Ventrone on the sideline. And I mean, I'm sorry, as a player, I want to score for that dude. Bubba, I want to run through whatever wall or barrier that I have to make the tackle. I mean, and that's what I want in my D coordinator too. You know what I mean? I look at those two, or D line coach. I look at those two positions. You want that energy and stuff. I understand you want your D coordinator maybe be a little more cerebral and stuff. But my D line coach, I want them just to be get them, just go and get them. And I feel like that young, vibrant, connecting with the players on that level. I mean, can you imagine? You got DeForest Buckner. Okay, he might give a little bit of aid to DeForest, but DeForest has got his technique. DeForest just needs to know that guy on the other side of that line is keeping me, at his amp. Keeping me, running to your point, fresh legs and keeping me going, rotating me out and making sure that I've got everything to give this team. And that's all I can ask for from a D line. That and sacks, give me sacks. I want sacks. I don't care if we need to bring more talent or Robert Massa says we've got the talent, whatever. Give me sacks. I'm tired of hearing about, this and that and what have you, and I look at, you look at the younger talent that we've got, this energy and that guy being in your ear and then not just sitting there, okay, yeah, I want you to run this stunt, or whatever. No, you want to hear it. You want to feel the orders, So I am very pleased with that younger, more vibrant coaching. And like I said, Bradley's calling the shots, but this guy's going to be the one that has that hands-on technique, day in, day out, walking. I mean, we've seen it in training camp. A lot of these assistants and stuff, they're the ones that are carrying the volume out on the field.
So going back to real quick, I'm jumping. This is my ADD, ladies and gentlemen. Going back to Russell Wilson, I'm just going to state, even if Jim Irsay liked Russell Wilson or likes him, and he said it, he likes Russell Wilson. Russell Wilson has a no trade clause in his contract. Okay, now him taking it off, taking all the Seahawks off his social media doesn't necessarily mean he was traded. He has stated multiple times, I need an offensive line. I need an offensive line. That's what I want. He's stated many times he wants to stay there, but he wants an offensive freaking line. Okay? And last year, the Colts weren't even in the playoffs, right? Last year, Russell Wilson beat Indianapolis. Remember that?
Yeah.
Do you think he wants to go to a team that he probably sees as a lesser team than the one he's already on? So that's the thing, The Colts could offer 5 first-round picks, DeForest Buckner, Quentin Nelson, and Darius Leonard, all in one big lump sum package. And if Russell says, I don't want to go, he's not going.
Yes, and to your point, you're going to lose assets. I mean, yes, you're going to lose draft picks and stuff, but I have a feeling that you're going to lose a valuable asset in there because, I mean, Seattle's really holding all the cards in this thing, aside from Ballard being able to say, no, that's a hard pass, and let's keep this ball rolling, So, yeah, there's so many things that make that seem not realistic. And to your point, if you're losing Quentin Nelson, say you got to give up Quentin Nelson, now all of a sudden, is that O-line as impressive as you were, been talking about over the last couple of years? You know what I mean? It's a lot of costs, and there's just a lot of things that have to line up that being realistic just doesn't seem like it fits.
Yeah, it's funny you talk about that. I mean, Russell Wilson sitting there, and they're like, all right, let's say Russell Wilson would see the Colts as an even keel, but he wants to go because the Colts have an offensive line. But Pro Bowl and All-Pro offensive linemen are in the trade, so they won't be there when he gets there. He's like, I'm just moving from point A to point B for the same stinking crap. All right. I wouldn't be all up on that too much if I was Russell Wilson. I'm just saying.
Right.
I don't know what the Colts are going to do at quarterback. I'm not putting it out there of any idea that what I'm going to be doing or what is going to happen. Personally, I think we should probably, unless something stupidly good happens, ride with Carson Wentz. I think it's completely and utterly stupid to release Carson Wentz. If people are saying just release him, if you can't get a trade, release him. That would be the dumbest thing the Colts could do. You do not release a guy without someone in place that is at least as good as him already there. Because you might end up starting your next season with Scott Tolzien or Curtis Painter, okay? And yes, I am saying currently with what the Colts have, that's what you would be starting out with. Because I'm sorry, as much as I like the kid out of Texas, all right, personality-wise and the way he puts he's not a starting quarterback in the NFL, okay? He just isn't. So,
and I'm telling you guys, if they commit to Carson and Carson's going to show a lot of people. I mean, everybody acts like Carson didn't get better from 2020 to 2021. They act like Carson, was just garbage. And I know he the team finished off undesirably. So I'm not denying that. But everybody's painting Carson Wentz out, to be this big hot mess. And just, I don't see it. I mean, yes, there's the WTF plays. And yes, there's things I want better. Okay. But I'm telling you, you sit there and you look at the leap that he took from 2020 to 2021. Without an off season, going through all the other stuff, and then whenever he was playing, ankle gone. Okay. There's so much. All right. Give this guy this year. Okay. Whenever you're sitting there and you're making all your Madden trades and stuff, if you're not getting an Aaron Rodgers or a Russell Wilson, Carson Wentz is more than likely the guy because he's going to give you the biggest upside. And God forbid the Colts have a same returning quarterback for one. We don't do that around here. I mean, I understand why we've had to rotate the quarterbacks, and I respect it. And I feel like the Colts have done a pretty darn good job of working through this. But right here, right now, I feel like Carson Wentz is the guy. Maybe some of this was done to motivate Carson Wentz. Maybe some of this is, to just, light that fire under him a little bit. I don't know. But my point is for me, Carson Wentz is the guy until he's not, because he's definitely going to give us the most upside.
Well, I'm going to tell you right now. I'm going to get into my crystal ball. I'm going to look in it real quick. If Carson Wentz is released and the Indianapolis Colts have to start the season off with a crap quarterback, and Herbert Krabbit drops in here and says, I like Curtis Painter. He gave us Andrew Luck.
Oh. The first start of that sentence, I was like, oh, he just lost points, but then he redeemed himself.
Okay, but so I'm going to look at this crystal ball here. In 2 years, the Indianapolis Colts will be the bottom feeding team in the NFL. If that happens. And this is why. If you do not have a starting caliber quarterback in place for Carson Wentz, you may or may not be able to get one. Then you end up with a Curtis Painter. But who's to say there's an Andrew Luck in the upcoming draft? Because you are going to lose this upcoming season. You're going to looking at a 2 or 3 win season, okay, in a 17-game season. We will be the Jacksonville of next year, okay, with a crap quarterback. Then what happens? Well, that's a fireable offense. Ballard's gone. Reich's gone. Everything's clean house. You don't have a quarterback. You don't have a head coach. You don't have a GM. You don't have everything. Everything's done. You are now a bottom feeder team trying to rebuild because you released Carson Wentz without a set player in his place. That's what would happen. Just saying. Tim M says, I don't think Wentz will get cut. He may not be the right guy, but he's still a top 20 quarterback. Speed Maverick says cutting Eason was a bad decision. I've been bitching about that.
Man.
Ever since it happened. I agree completely. Completely agree.
Not the shining moment for the organization at the backup quarterback for 2021.
Driggs says the Colts gave up a first and a third for Wentz. Since then, he performed better last year, even without training camp and OTAs. There you go. Danny Pike, what's up? Says the Colts could have Dan Jones, Danny Dimes, and have a good enough offensive line and a run game and defense to win 6 games. Okay, 6 games. That's good. That's a fireable offense for the coach and Ballard. You're not getting a high enough pick to grab an Andrew Luck type quarterback or a Peyton Manning type quarterback, right? You're going to end up being a bottom-feeding team. That's
just longer. With that scenario, it's just going to – it's sort of like, the Pacers. You know what I mean? They can get into the playoffs, but they just can't get to the championship game. Here we're talking about, okay, you're going to be bad enough, but not bad enough to get yourself out of this purgatory. So I don't want that at all.
Yeah. Danny Pike says, I don't want him. I'm just saying that they're not a guaranteed 2-win team no matter what. I'm just saying, if we end up dropping to, like, as bad as what – we were above 500 last season. Right? We finished 9-8. We were above 500. We drop, and we're a 6-11 team. That's a complete rebuild. Ursay says, pull the plug. That's what'll happen.
Do you remember what they had to give up? The Jets had to give up to move from 6 to 3,
right?
Just to get their shot at a quarterback.
3
remember
second
how well
round
we benefited?
Picks. Yeah.
And and they, like I said, they gave up that first round 6.
I'm just saying they had to give up an extra 3 second round picks. Yeah. And the Colts really turned that into some really nice stuff. But yeah. So guys, I appreciate each and every one of you, man. 37 minutes in. Please don't forget to smash that like button. All right, please smash that like button. Very, very important. Guys, also don't forget to check out Newsbreak. If you want to support the channel and you can't afford to donate in the tip jar in the donations button right here in the description, that's fine. Use the link in the description for Newsbreak, and then download the app, which is absolutely free, and give us a follow. That, all on its own, will put money in our pockets, and we appreciate that, because every dime that we get, we use to try to get more and better content out to you. This video is sponsored by Newsbreak. Newsbreak is an app used over 1.5 billion times a month by people just like you to get local news via articles or videos by those who are focused on that specific area. People like myself. Just use the link in the description of this video to download. Then search a city, state, or someone specific, like myself, Colts Law. Then make sure to follow them so you'll get all the news fresh as it comes out. All right, I want to get off the Carson Wentz talk.
Okay.
I want to get off the Russell Wilson or quarterback talk. We're talking about coaches. That's what this specific stream is about. I think that the Colts are finally moving. People got so upset that it was taking a couple weeks to put together a complementary of coaches. But you got a guy who just walked in as the new DC, and all his guys from his previous regime over at the Raiders were already hired and taken somewhere else. So he had to sit and literally do a bunch of interviews. And also, first he had to research the team, right? He didn't know all that about the Colts. He had to go back and look at all the film, right? Look at all the analytics. And then he had to think about who were some guys that would fit my scheme with the players that we got, that I would want. And that's not going to happen overnight. And people started losing their shit, right? And getting incredibly impatient like 5-year-olds wanting Christmas cake or something, and just blowing up Twitter. Oh my goodness, the Colts can't get anybody because they're cheap. And that just lost I lost it. I'm looking at it going, this is nuts. Give the guy a break. He's trying to get guys. And this past week, hire after hire after hire after hire, he finally got through all of that, started doing his interviews, and is getting his hiring done. All you got to do is be patient. It'll start happening. Good Lord. Danny Pike.
Sorry, sir. We don't do patience in this organization.
Right? Danny Pike brings up a question that has been brought up many, many times, and I can tell you the answer to that very, very easily. He says, why didn't they hire Robert Mathis? That's the biggest question I have.
Oh.
Mathis don't want to be a coach, okay? Mm-hmm. He came in a couple years back and kind of was a pass rush assistant during training camp and during the season. That helped him get his legs under him for his own business at the Gridiron Gang. Okay? Now he's at the Gridiron Gang. He's able to work with young NFL players and teach them, not just the Colts, but all over the NFL. And these guys, he's allowed to work with 365 days of the year. Unlike a coach, if he was a coach, he could, during the off season, he's not even allowed to call him up and ask him to come over for dinner. Okay? Mm-hmm. But being that he's not a coach, but he's a trainer, a personal trainer, basically, he's allowed to talk to him and work with him all year around. All right? And that's going to help him with his personal business and with whoever comes and decides to hire him to work, like Kamoko Toure, right?
Yeah. Yep. Yeah. And yeah, to your point, me personally, I think all Colts fans should want it to be just the way it is. We're going to get more as a more talented and better training, more hands-on and stuff from Robert Mathis this way than if he was to sit there and have to be tied in with the organization, put in all those long hours, and probably have a less quality personal life.
Yeah. What's up, McChicken? I don't really look at you talk about long snap scouting, and I was long snap scouting during the training camp. I was looking at Luke Rhodes a lot. Ask Loyalist. I was pointing him out a lot at training camp, going, look at this dude. Oh, my goodness. It's like a cannon he's shooting that football out there. That I ain't lying. All right. I look at everybody. All right. I'm not Zach Hicks and go, I don't even look at kickers or snappers. All right. That was a dig on Zach, and he's not here. I apologize. I like Zach. I think he does a wonderful job. He does a really good job as
it's
well.
It's not a dig. Zach would own that thing instantly.
Yeah. But yeah, that's I think that Nomadic Brian, what's up? He comes in, says, say, Ollie, I think we should be more aggressive in our pass rush. What do you think? You're certainly right, Stanley. Absolutely. No, Driggs talks about Darius Butler. If Butler came in, I don't think he would be, obviously, he's not going to be the DB's coach because it's funny, right? Because Mike Mitchell is now the DB's coach. Darius could come in as an assistant. He's already put his name out there on social media, so it's not completely done and over with. You could still get assistant coaches, and Darius played both corner, outside corner, nickel corner, and safety, so he knows all three positions. So I would think, as long as he has a good way of transmitting that information from himself to other people, I'd be all for seeing what he could do. I really would. 36 people. Guys, smash that like button because I think we're probably going to be killing this here pretty soon. My throat is killing me, and I don't know why. Oh, real quick shout out. Next Thursday, 8 p.m. Generally, Patreon-only streams happen on Thursday at 8 p.m. Next Thursday, however, we're going to be doing a recording. Okay, and it's not with it. Patreon members will be able to join and talk about it as well. But I'm going to give this to Loyalist, let him announce it because I gave this baby to him, and he's the one that's going to be directing this.
All right, so basically, guys, we're going to sit there and we know that we're going to be digging into the what if we have this guy, what do we have? But honestly, there was a whole lot of that already getting started, and I wanted to sit there and have a little show where we're all just like thankful for what we do have, thankful for having Quentin Nelson, Ryan Kelly, Darius Leonard, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. You know, because the thing is you just get digging into this stuff and people are acting like this team is void of talent and stuff. And I just feel like that's just the wrong message and stuff. So anyhow, I reached out to some of the other content creators and, from Bring the Juice, Cody and Derek, and reached out to Inside the Horseshoe with Matt and stuff. So these guys have all agreed to come in on Thursday. You have to be part of the Patreon, though. That's the thing if you want to see it. Otherwise, what we're going to do is we're going to sit there and we're going to record it. Then Lawrence and I are going to edit it and get it all, processed and stuff, and we'll put it on YouTube. That'll probably be a few days later after that. But like I said, we're going to have a lot of the no horsing around, a lot of the content creators that you've either seen on this show or they've had us on their show and stuff, and just sort of bring it together, take a breath episode, talk about a lot of the good stuff that we have going on and stuff. Reached out to Ray and Mike from DPN. So they're going to come in and help keep us balanced, not let our heads get too big and stuff. And so, yeah, this is going to be a good time. And like I said, $5 a month, you get, and the thing is the way we're doing this, you're not losing the Patreon, because what we're doing is we're moving Patreon. We're going to have our Patreon. It's just going to be on a Saturday. So this is just a little added bonus if you're a member of the Patreon and stuff. And I'm hoping that it'll turn out pretty cool if we get everybody to show up and have a good time.
All right, guys. Thanks, Wyatt. Yeah, Millis is the new secondary coach. It's Mitchell's the assistant.
That's right. I was trying to check.
Yeah. I knew that too, and my brain stopped for 2 seconds. My apologies. Thanks for calling me out on that one, Wyatt. I appreciate that. But guys,
thanks for doing it here, not on Twitter.
Right, guys. I think that's gonna kill it for now. I appreciate it. Hopefully next week's stream will be great. I'm working on my new free agent film room as well. That Patreon voted on last night. Right, we sat down. What was it? About 20 minutes of sitting there voting to try to figure out what the next film room was going to be about. You want to word in on stuff like that? The best way of doing that is $5 a month, unless you want to drop some serious money right down here. I'm just saying, Patreon might have to wait a week if someone dropped like $50 and says, "Nah, I want a film on this dude," But shout out to all of you. Love y'all. 99% of you, your heads are screwed on straight. You think straight. You're not talking crazy out your butt, so I appreciate that a lot. Why is my volume fading? Or is it just that I'm pushed back? Hold on, White. I'm going to look real quick and see if it actually is. I said my throat hurts, okay? So... No. There it is. Where is it? That's weird. It did drop. Why did it drop? I thought I turned it off so that it couldn't be dropped. That's nuts. Well, I appreciate you. No, it's not. It was because of that. I thought I changed it. I really did. I selected that no other software can change my volume, and then selected it. Yeah, that's on my Windows, and yet it changed again on its own. That's stupid. Brian says, "Ouch, my ears." All right, guys. Yeah, it might be a poltergeist. I don't know. All right, guys. Have a good one. I appreciate each and every one of you. Any closing?
No, like I said, guys, if you can, please share about the Thursday show. I think that's going to be just a really good show. I'm hoping that, we get a lot of good conversation and stuff. So Thursday at 8 p.m.
And until next time, I'm Lawrence Owen. That's Colts Loyalist. And as usual, have a good one.
Just because a player's not a household name doesn't mean we can't make him a household name.